What is going on, guys? It's Adam AK Marf, and today's show is going to be packed. We're going to talk about, of course, China having a leaky faucet, only it's nuclear. We'll be right back right after this. Remember, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show, including our wonderful mods. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. Oh, yeah. All right, what is going on, guys? My name is Adam AK Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we are going to cover a whole lot. So just to remind you, or if you're new, you can actually find every single article, every single tweet, every single video that we show you here today on our website, marfooglenews.com. Now, when you go there, it's very easy to navigate. Just look for today's thumbnail, and when you see it, make sure to click it, and you will see that we have organized it by, of course, articles, and then, of course, Too Hot for TV, and then callers when we do have a calling show. Again, this is or the day after, and of course tomorrow or the day after, and you'll see that everything is here for you to look at, or you can continue reading it past the show, or if you can't watch the whole thing, you can at least read all of the articles or follow along on a second device. Again, we have Dex here today, my internet brother and best friend from another mend. What's going on?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine. Glad to be back from the weekend.
Again, this is a news show, so Mondays are normally news only. We're going to go through a whole lot in a short amount of time, but I do want to thank everybody that has already popped in. Thank you to the Foogle fam. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. Of course, lots of craziness going down right now, so we'll get right into that. It says that Putin tells Biden, and do not be mad at the mirror if you're ugly, and accuses the U.S. of targeting Americans in free speech attack. It says Vladimir has deflected criticism from President JB ahead of their summit this week, insisting, quote, don't be mad at the mirror if you are ugly. The Russian leader's rebuke of Mr. B, or JB, came in a wide-ranging interview with NBC, in which Putin also accused the U.S. of, quote, targeting its citizens over their political opinions, pointing the arrests of January 6 rioters. It says Putin's sit-down interview with the network was his first with a U.S. media outlet in 3 years. Relationships between the U.S. and Russia are at their lowest point in decades, a fact that Mr. B and Mr. P have both put publicly acknowledged in recent weeks. Now, something just came out a couple days ago that says that our President JB will actually do a solo press conference right after it. Dex, did you hear about that? That it's going to be a solo press conference? Normally, it is a dual press conference.
Yeah, he denied the duel. That's kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah, maybe, again, if you know kind of the whole history of them going back and forth, or supposedly going back and forth, Mr. Putin said, hey, I want a debate, or I want to talk to you, but with no delay, just the translator, no time, no scripts, no nothing, no chance for, somebody to feed you something, just me and you talking. And then, of course, now we are fast-forwarding months, and we're actually getting this meeting. Now, there's a lot of weird stuff going on if you've been watching the previous weeks of the show. Of course, we had one of the Foogle fam bring to our attention that Russia is buying in mass these inflatable tanks, inflatable planes, inflatable army, essentially, and they even show up on radar. If you did not see that episode, these are life-size tanks, these are life-size planes, life-size jets, life-size missile launchers, and, some were saying like, of course, they're making fake tanks to scare us, so they don't really have that much. That's actually not right. And I confirmed that, and I talked to a few military members, and they said, oh, no, they've got plenty of vehicles, and I was right that they believe that those are for to distract and take away real tanks on our side, and or whoever they're fighting. and to get them to go, and basically it's a wild goose hunt, right? Or it's a wild goose chase. They go off and they've got 20 of our best tanks rolling down, and then they end up finding 20 of their inflatable tanks. So it's a distraction. It's a decoy to get, of course, forces separated and diverted. Think about it. If we don't know which ones are the real ones and which aren't, we won't know where to send our forces. Now, of course, we've got drones, we've got satellite technology, but I believe there is now technology that can block or shroud, kind of like the fog of conflict that they used to have in the games, where they would put up a tower and it would block satellite images, or at least it would shine up. Or now I heard that they can shine a laser or a light in certain areas, so if a satellite's going over with a camera, it can see it from the ground and then perfectly block that light, or put a light in the camera. Apparently that is also something that is possible active conflict if they do, but in the case of an actual conflict, they have that technology, so they wouldn't care if it was a big, they wouldn't care if it was a big deal. It says much of the fraying of relations can be attributed to a series of cyber attacks carried out on U.S. interests over the last year, including the Colonial Pipeline shutdown and the SolarWinds hack. So, Dex, is he implying that we did the SolarWinds hack and that we did the Colonial Pipeline, or do you get a little bit of that?
He's definitely implying that they had nothing to do with it, and he asks for proof for all the accusations that they're involved.
And you would think that proof or something like that would be dealt, above our heads. But again, let me take kind of a poll here. Let me ask you guys, and I'll just make it really simple. 1 for you think it's Russia. 2 if you think it's somebody else. Do you think Russia was the perpetrator of SolarWinds? 1 for yes and 2 for no. I'll actually turn on the chat so everybody can see everybody's answers. So 1, if you think Russia was really behind these hacks, or 2, if you think it's anybody else. Could be the U.S., could be whoever. In fact, actually, it's pretty mixed here, but a lot of 2s. The fact that I can just see 2, period, with it scrolling that fast means there's a lot of them. Wow, so many people all at once. That is awesome. Thank you, guys. Some people are writing in China. Some people are writing in that it was us. Again, the accusations are there. It says, Putin said any accusations of the Kremlin was involved in the hacks were farcical, I think, or farcical. I think that's how you say that, and urged Washington to provide proof for the unfounded claims. The incumbent leader also discussed criticism recently leveled by President B that Russia was contributing to global instability. Adopting the Kremlin's time-tested strategy of deflection criticism by highlighting perceived U.S. flaws, he accused the White House of doing the same in Syria and Afghanistan. Do you think he's actually wrong in all of that? Because I do think that, obviously they're saying by him pointing out our flaws that he can deflect it. I think it's both ways. I mean, we do have some flaws there. And
would he admit it?
Yeah, exactly. No, he wouldn't either. So we'll be following this very closely. Right now, we have a lot of big changes. Netanyahu is actually out. They ousted him. We'll probably have that in other news here. But of course, there are big changes happening right now. So I said, please, people, keep your head on a swivel. Plus, I don't know, Dex, I don't know if you got it in here, but there is a drill in Pittsburgh. If we don't have it in here, can we grab it from my Twitter?
I'll look for it.
I just tweeted it this morning or yesterday. It is a drill happening in Pittsburgh, USA, this week, I believe. I could be wrong. Let me actually quote the actual article. And then it says, oh no, Russia is testing new advanced ICBMs. Thousands of missile troops are holding drills with Russia's latest mobile intercontinental missile And it says called special and other special hardware. Russia's defense ministry reported earlier this week that over 2,000 missile troops gathered in the Irkutsk region of the eastern Siberia to practice maneuvers with road mobile Yars intercontinental ballistic missiles. Quote, in the course of the drills, the missile forces are practicing bringing missile systems to field positions, conducting marches, dispersing launchers with a change of field positions. They're equipping and organizing camouflage measures and combat security. Okay, so if you've been following for the last 5 years of kind of what the underground chatter has been, it's been talking about these mobile intercontinental ICBMs that essentially can look like containers. They can look like shipping containers. They can go on the back of a big rig. They can grab a Kenworth and take an ICBM anywhere. Not only that, they can grab a Bayliner or whatever. They can grab a tugboat. They can grab a train. They can grab pretty much anything. Heck, they could probably grab a hovercraft if they wanted to. Again, there are portable, mobile ICBMs, and they're practicing essentially what we saw in all of these kind of videos that we saw a few years ago, where you had an animated 3D kind of video of them using these things and going out to fields and deploying them. Now they're actually doing that. They're practicing for this. On top of that, if you add in the inflatable tanks, planes, jets, and missile launchers,
I heard they hired all the laid off people from the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade to float those things around.
Yeah, because that's those are things that are we're probably not even gonna have 4th of July anymore either. That's another thing that's probably going away. So the one thing here is people get mad if anybody says that we are going to have a WW3, or especially if a creator does, because guess what? Then you're a fearmonger, then you're a warmonger, or then you are trying to scare people for this or scare people for that. If you've been watching my show long enough that you know that I'm not trying to scare anybody, I'm trying to tell you what I think and what I have thought, and I believe that a lot of people go with us because we don't say things very often. We don't say dates. We don't just blindly say things. We don't say things without backing it up. I feel like we're close, and so does Dex, and it's like we have to dance around it because most people get mad or they get scared, and most people are a mixture of both. They get scared, and then it turns into anger, and then they're a total jerk about it. Look at what is happening now, regardless if you think they're secretly working together, or if somebody is somebody else's puppet, or if they're infiltrated, or whatever you think it is. I think that something big has to happen, and all of you guys know this. Everybody here pretty much agrees that something big is coming. But a lot of people are in arguments of what is going to happen, whether it be an asteroid, whether it be pole shift, whether it be a solar event, whether it be an earthquake, whether it be a conflict or an invasion or whatever it is. I do believe that we may have multiple things happen at once, and some of them may be man-made. We have knowledge and factual knowledge that they now are working on stuff to control the entire planet. And we're talking about actual weather and phenomenons and things like this. We already know that they can do certain things. Now we're hearing rumors that they can do pretty much anything. That's controlling the actual planet. We're stepping up into technically, we're almost going into a type 1 civilization there. So I don't know. I think that it's pretty clear what is going on in my gut. And I say follow your gut, don't follow the headlines. Because look at this. They're doing exactly everything has happened, and we all knew it. And by we, I mean you, the audience, everybody. The things that we are thinking in the back of our head that you don't want to say out loud at work, those things are happening. And they're happening at an alarming rate, and it is really scary. But at the same time, if you prepare for these things, or if you get extra food and water and things like this, if you are mentally prepared for it, then it's just like anything else in life. It's going to happen. It's Murphy's Law. There are so many changes happening right now. It's unbelievable. Now, it does say that the Russian news outlet TASS added that 200, quote, items of material of a missile formation, including the most advanced types of armaments, military, and special hardware, participated in the exercises. RS-24 YARS is an improved variant of the Topol-M ICBM, equipped with at least 3 and as many as 10 multiple independently targetable warheads, or a MIRV, each reportedly carrying a 300 kiloton yield. YARS is believed to exist in both road mobile and silo-based variants. Road mobile systems can be harder to detect, track, and target than their stationary counterparts, potentially making them more survivable and thus providing a key source of strategic redundancy in a major nuclear conflict. The YARS missile system is heavier than the Topol-M that it is replacing, but it is transported by the same 16 by 16 wheeled chassis as its predecessor. YARS takes approximately 7 minutes to launch and employs a GLONASS digital inertial navigation system. So, again, I hope it never gets to the point it's nuclear, or I hope that some of the really far people that say that nuclear doesn't even exist, I hope you're right. But at the same time, I would rather, prepare for little things. Everyone in Russia thinks about this stuff to the point where a lot of people actually have extra prep as far as like iodine tablets and things like that. How many people do you know that have iodine tablets here? Dex, do you know anybody?
Myself.
I mean, like regular people that you were friends with that come to your barbecues.
Only preppers, no.
Over there, they tell them on the regular news, like, to have it and where you can get it, and they actually they do little commercials, just like we do public service announcements. They say, hey, get your, have your food, have 6 months, have a year, have 2 years, have iodine tablets and things like that. This week's shelter drill in Moscow is Friday. Let's all go down there. They actually do that stuff. We don't. So if it ever did happen, not saying it will, it's not going to be good. Nobody's going to be prepared for it except for you guys. And then guess what? Everybody's going to come to you because you're prepared. So just be ready for anything. And then Chinese nuclear plant leaking or likely leaking near 126 million people. Disaster possible, U.S. investigating reports say. So this is officially being, called a possible cover-up, okay? So this might be, something along the lines, I guess, of Chernobyl. Dex, would you agree this could be, it doesn't sound like it is as bad, or do you think it sounds as bad as Chernobyl?
Yeah, it's not at a meltdown stage, but they have these thresholds where they allow a certain amount and you have to stay under that. And if you do go over that, then you have to shut down. And apparently China has chosen not to do that and allows the leaking levels to go at a much higher level. And that's a bad sign, right? In the industry, they pretty much have these standards that they follow across the globe when it comes to these types of plants and how they run.
So, and now everything is of course up in the air. They have sensors that are sensing this. It says on Monday, a French nuclear company, Framatome, announced it is supporting efforts to resolve a performance issue with its Taishan nuclear power plant in China's heavily populated Guangdong province, raising concerns about a potential nuclear leak. It says the nuclear plant is located in Guangdong, which, according to the Chinese census estimates for 2020, has an estimated population of 126 million people. Just to put that in perspective, so one city there is a third of the U.S. population. Okay, so just saying that, even though we are more technically advanced, doesn't that make you think too, like if we ever had to go to an actual man-to-man conflict, or say power was knocked out on both sides and it's just sheer person-to-person, hand-to-hand combat. They have 1.4 plus billion people. We have 370 million. They almost have a third of our population in one city. But getting back to the point, that a third, okay, so that's like the entire West Coast and basically a third of our country being possibly exposed to nuclear waste. It says the plant is located about 84 miles from Hong Kong. It says CNN reported citing U.S. officials and Department of Energy documents. It reviewed that the U.S. government has been asserting a reported leak at a nuclear plant for the last week. Those documents obtained by CNN warned of a potential imminent radiological threat at the power plant. So this is what caught our attention. Imminent. So what is coming out is that there is an imminent threat to possibly 126 million people, which is absolutely insane. It says to ensure off-site dose limits are maintained within acceptable bounds to not cause undue harm to the surrounding population, the TNP-JVC is required to comply with the regulatory limit and otherwise shut the reactor down if such a limit is exceeded. The company reportedly wrote its letter to the DOE. The letter reportedly stated, quote, due to the increasing number of failures, rather than maintaining the advised radiation detection levels, China's safety authority, the National Nuclear Safety Administration, revised the detection limit to more than double that of the gases being released from the power plant, which in turn increases off-site risk to the public and on-site worker. So they're like, oh, well, we hit the limit. Double the limit. Fixed.
Not only that, if you read it closely, let's not double the limit. They're going to double what they're already putting off.
Oh yeah. So they're not even doing double the limit. They're doing double how far they're past it and then doubling that. You know that there was a high five involved there somewhere. They're like, yeah, let's just, okay, how much are we doing? Okay, let's just make a new limit. We make our own laws. Yeah. Yeah. That was wait, I kind of missed there. Oh, I missed again. Oh, that didn't even connect. Yeah! That was all done by myself, by the way. That was, now you're scratching your head saying, how did he even miss one of them then? That's how it goes. NATO welcomes Mr. B in pivotal post-T-Man summit. NATO leaders hope to open a new chapter in transatlantic relations at a summit with U.S. Pres JB on Monday, agreeing to focus on tackling climate change for the first time, as well as facing up China's military rise. Described as a, quote, pivotal moment by Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, the summit aims to turn the page on 4 tense years with the predecessor, DT, who shook confidence in the Western alliance by calling it, quote, obsolete. For the 30 allies meeting in Brussels, diplomats say nothing could be farther from the truth, looking to the nuclear-armed alliance founded in 1949 to help deal with threats from extreme weather and that could worsen conflicts with Russian attempts to undermine Western democracies through covert attacks. It says, quote, NATO owes it to the billion people we keep safe every day to continually adapt and evolve to meet new challenges and face down emerging threats. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who hosted JB and other G7 leaders in Cornwall, England, said in prepared remarks at the Brussels summit eve. Which, by the way, if you did see the clip of Boris shushing our president, that was pretty bad. If you haven't seen it, just go look up. Pretty much, just look up Boris and JB. Right, put those two names in, and you'll get that. He basically, our president forgot that Boris introduced one of the South African presidents, and then he goes, no, actually I did. And then all of the world leaders start cracking up and laughing at our president. And then Boris JB starts talking, and Boris just goes, no, and puts his hand back and shushes him. Russia's efforts to divide the West are likely to run through discussions, diplomats said, ahead of meeting between Mr. B and Russian President Vlad. Since Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea, NATO has modernized its defenses but remains vulnerable to attack and disinformation, although Moscow denies any attempts to destabilize NATO allies. It says, quote, cyber threats can emerge at any point during a crisis and trigger misunderstandings and unintended signals that could precipitate war. It says the European Leadership Network research group said in a paper released on its summit. But foremost in leaders' minds, diplomats say it is a need to hear Mr. JB recommit the United States to the NATO's collective defense after the T-Man era. T-Man's confrontational rhetoric towards allies from 2017 to 2019 at NATO summits created an impression of crisis, envoys said. It says China's growing military and economic presence in the Atlantic, including joint military drills with Russia, will prompt a strong response from leaders. A pledge to make NATO militaries carbon neutral by 2050 is also expected. Carbon neutral? The military's going to go carbon neutral. Wow. How are they going to do that? I guess that means we have to have electric tanks and things like that, right? Dex?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, there was something said really early on in this article that sort of struck me, and it was the statement that says to help deal with threats from extreme weather that can worsen conflicts.
What did I just say like 2 minutes ago, too?
Isn't that crazy? Extreme weather, it's a threat, and it you know, worsens conflicts. What does that tell people? It's like right there. It's bold.
Looking to the nuclear-armed alliance founded in 1949 to help deal with threats from extreme weather that can worsen conflicts to Russian attempts to undermine Western democracy through covert attacks.
All the flooding in China, the heat waves here, the flooding here in the past.
The
fires, yeah. Extreme weather. It's, you know, it's always a topic now.
What's crazy is it's a normal thing now. It is so normal that we are just used to it. In just the last 5 years, it's like, oh, yeah, that's our world now. And they're telling us, oh, it's this. And again, I think a lot of us are in the dark of how much power that humans have actually created as far as what they can do with it. Sir Budrick, thank you, says, let's see here. 9th of AV falls on July 17th, 18th this year, FYI. Again, by the way, I wanted to point out something was going on Twitter. Did anybody figure out what that was? Again, on Twitter, there were all of these posts. I mean, 1,000. Number 4 on trending for a while was Almighty. And I'm like, Almighty? Why is that on trending? I forgot to tell you this, Dex. So yesterday, Almighty was trending on Twitter. And I ended up clicking on it, and it brought me to thousands of posts. A lot of them, you know, leading back to this religious leader. And it says for free initiation, you know, go to the spiritual leader, blah, blah, blah. I ended up looking him up, and they say that that he's going to be the next leader of the world and all of this stuff. And it looked pretty kind of crazy culty. But, you know, again, I just looked at the video explaining him. He's got a huge following, 200,000 followers on YouTube. It was really weird. But on top of that, there were all these things, all these messages out of nowhere. And I said, is it a religious holiday? I looked up the schedules of all the holidays, and I didn't see anything. So if somebody found out what other holiday was going on yesterday, it was really creepy. That's all I got to say. Brandon Mulray, just wanted to say hi to the Foogle fam and mods. Going to bed now, but I'll be watching the replay at work tomorrow. Stay awesome, Adam. Brandon Mulray, thank you. And if you've already tuned out, make sure to put this on at work. Brandon Mulray is a really good worker. Starry 2000, what is going on? Thank you for subscribing. James Fox, thanks, Marf. Great show. William Gaines, thank you for joining us. Vibron, I appreciate being the last one out last time. And then, of course, over on DLive, thank you, everybody that has popped in already. Kishara says, watch Salvation, Netflix California predicted. Wait a second. Netflix Canada predicted all. I have not seen that yet. Jaybird42, Xenos Grasshopper, Scooby-Doo Do-Right, thank you. Chronaholic, Out of the Woods, Duckhawk, Carolina Roots. We've got Dab36. We've got Chewy Weather. Release the Quackin', thank you for popping in. Griffey, Griffle, Scooby-Doo Do-Right, Peck Ann, DeWitt's, Mrs. H, and Dixie Doe. Jem, thanks for being in there. And again, thank you everybody that has popped in so far. All right, and then we're going to talk about this here. We have a picture to go along with this. It says, sign blames English town's local council for doing nothing about alien abductions, report says. This is like an actual thing that happened. It says, according to UK media reports, the West Midlands County has seen a spike in UFO sightings in recent years. According to Freedom of Information requests, local police received almost 21,000 reports of mysterious objects seen in the sky between 2015 and 2017 alone. It says a mysterious sign in the English town of Sedgley, or I think that's right, Sedgley in the West Midlands County of Staffordshire, has blamed its local council for not defending its residents against aliens. It says the Daily Star reported, according to the newspaper, the large panel with black stenciled writing reads, quote, 3 alien abductions here in 1 week. When are the council going to do something? It says a local council officer dismissed allegations of people being kidnapped by aliens, but emphasized that there is something definitely going on with UFO activity in the county. It says no one would ever go on record to confirm that, he added. As mentioned in recent years, there have been numerous reports of UFO sightings in the West Midlands. The Daily Star writes that the number was so high that someone created a website so that members of the public could log areas where they saw alleged extraterrestrial activity. One such account, written by a woman named Lisa, tells of a mysterious object which looked like a plane on fire. It moved far too fast to be a plane. We live near the flight path, so we're used to seeing planes. I watched for it probably only a few seconds and saw as it traveled across the sky, not down, reduced in size, and then disappeared, the woman wrote, according to the Daily Star. So you're by the way, here's the sign here. So this town has some unusual, crazy amount of sightings here. It says 3 alien abductions here in 1 week. When are the council going to do something? Do you think that this is a joke, or do you think that this is something that is actually happening? Are you watching from Sedgley? I would love to get your opinion on this. I know that we have plenty of people in the UK watching. Tell me, is this something serious? And 21,000 sightings, though, to put that in perspective, I think that's... I want to say that's like 10 years worth from, how many reportings we got in the entire West Coast. So that's a lot of reports. 105 in Utah tomorrow, says Kim O'Donnell. I am sorry, man. That is hot. Dixie No, YNND, Wind, Chewy Weather. Thank you, everybody that's popped in. If you guys want, again, I hope that everybody is listening to this. I hope people as well understand why we actually choose EMP Shield. If you have not checked these guys out, you can actually protect yourself against an electromagnetic pulse or a solar flare or a CME with an EMP Shield. This device is made by the company, the same one working with DHS, DOD, and now the DEMSO team protecting the Texas grid. It actually can protect all of your devices, your house, your home, your car, your solar system, your ham radio, whichever device you end up getting from all 3 phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3. It can also protect your home from lightning. Again, if people laugh at that, but if you've ever had your house struck, that can be a $1,500 deductible alone. This would be about 5 times cheaper than that with one time, and it would protect you from that. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. It's 100% American made. It's a veteran-owned business, and again, it helps out the channel. Not only that, you get $50 off per device, and you'll be prepping for something that no one else is actually thinking about, but they should. The government, of course, the military, they are all doing something about this. Why aren't we? Thank you, everybody that continues to support through all of the different venues, through our website or wherever you may support us. We are truly independent. We don't have a multi-channel network. You guys are it. So thank you, everybody that does. There are a few that go above and beyond. We are just blessed to have you, and thank you so much for being here. You guys know who you are. D Waits, again, lots of people popping in, lots of new subscribers over on YouTube. Don't know why. Again, Rietta Squires, thank you, and thank you. Somebody said we are expendable. Somebody just said EMP winners in 1 week. Who is that? Yes, the contest will be announced in very shortly here. All right, and then Dex, would you like to go into the alien contact could end life on Earth as they are bound to be more advanced than us, say scientists?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of an obvious when you think about it. If we're going out of our way to contact a potential species that's got a higher, form of technology, if we invite it here or we draw its attention and they come here, then obviously if they have more technology than us, then we're definitely going to be, at risk, right? It's sort of a given, but that's what this article is all about. It's kind of a nada kind of thing, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, we do all these things. We talk, everybody's talking about it. We put up, radio signals out into space. We listen to radio signals from space. We're doing everything, to sort of get attention and sending out satellites and doing all that. So it's kind of an interesting take on it when you think about it. Yeah, you're doing all this, and do you really want that to happen if it does?
Well, of course, it's like there's so much weird. Why is it every single day we're just bombarded by this stuff? And Dex, they have leaks that have come out about the report, but the report still hasn't come out, right?
That's correct. It's not out yet.
Why?
But they're certainly prepping us for all sorts of angles on this report, whether it's, former presidents to all sorts of three-letter agency people telling us their insights or their intel or their thoughts and what they believe is going to happen. But they have not released it. And those that have leaked it or leaked bits and pieces of it have leaked both that it doesn't exist and saying that even though they say it doesn't exist, they didn't say it actually doesn't exist. So it could, because it could be hidden.
Okay, and here's the real big problem that really is bothering me, though, is that people are they're talking like the report has come out. They said, report says that this and this and that. If the report hasn't come out, the report hasn't come out. But all these reputable news sources are just basically repeating what sources say to make a headline almost every day until the report comes out. If you don't have the actual report, don't talk about it yet. Especially, you're just going back and forth. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. Anyways, popped in Jacob Israel. I don't know if he's still here, but Jacob Israel just did a $50 super chat. Again, I try to stop by his stream as much as I can and try to show support as well. So thank you. You're probably just going to get it back. But thank you so much. That's huge, Jacob. From one creator to another. If you guys have not checked out Jacob Israel, we actually rotate his link in chat almost every night. We've been pushing people there for years because I believe Jacob Israel is the same on and off camera. Not everybody's like that. You talk to people. There's a few people like Brian, High Impact Flicks. Even when we disagree, the guy is the same off camera as he is on. He's you don't, there's no mystery there. If he's thinking something else, it's like he just tells you straight up. But thank you, says Adam and Dex. I'm up late tonight. So much better watching you live. Mentioned you too in my next show. Of course, Jacob rarely does live, but he always does these very intricate recorded shows. So if you have not seen that, if he's going to upload it, if he says he's going to have a good one, then he's probably going to have in the next couple days. So make sure to check Jacob Israel's channel out. And then, of course, Jeff M says, what's with the free G upgrade by Verizon? New ad to upgrade now. I think it's just a gimmick, but personally, I think that the G, it doesn't make any sense. One of the phones, again, one of the phones that I have says it is, but it's not. It's slower. It seems like since that kicked in that it is actually slower than 4G. And then watching from Salem, Oregon, headed to Bellevue, Washington tomorrow. Love you all, Foogle fam. The Salty King Word. Again, Bellevue, Washington. What a stuck-up place. That is where Mr. Gilly Bates lives. Very stuck-up, salty town. So, but the Salty King Word, that is awesome that you are going to be local. Gone Girl 777 PRS. Thank you so much for your massive support. Again, thank you for going above and beyond. Says, love you, Adam, Dex, Mods, and Foogle fam. I have a new dog. Her name is Little Foogie Dog. I decided to call her Foog for short. That is flippin' awesome. We have our dog, and we call him McFoogle. God can't stand lukewarm. Choose your side and prepare for conflict. Godspeed us. Frankie Rios. God can't stand lukewarm. Choose your side and prepare for war. Godspeed us. Thank you, Frankie Rios, and I appreciate the support there. If you want to check out the rest of this article, you can go to marfooglenews.com. Again, it talks about physicist Mark Buchanan and everything that is in there. Again, really good article. And then we have Northrop Grumman Pegasus rocket launches U.S. Space Force mission. This is yet another kind of weird launch. It says a Northrop Grumman Pegasus XL rocket launched the U.S. Space Force's Tactical Responsive Launch 2 mission June 13th at 1:11 a.m. exactly Pacific from Vandenberg Space Force Base. The payload was successfully deployed and its intended orbit, a Space Force spokesman confirmed on Sunday. Pegasus is an air-launched rocket deployed from a Stargazer L-1011 aircraft shortly after its release from Stargazer at approximately 40,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean. Pegasus ignited its first stage and flew TackRL to a sun-synchronous low Earth orbit. Sun-synchronous. This sounds fancy, Dex, but we actually talked about this as far as these air-launched rockets, right?
Yeah, we did. So we were talking about the different ways they could launch, and this is one of the ones we had talked about, and here is one of the first examples of it being used for Space Force. And what they do is always semi top secret, if not fully top secret, so we won't know really what's happening here, but the sun synchronous orbit is kind of interesting as well.
So imagine what we already know about as far as their surveillance. It says the TackRL is a technology demonstration satellite to be used for space surveillance. The Space and Missile Systems Center's Space Safari office integrated the satellite built and operated by the Air Force Research Laboratory and Utah State University Space Dynamics Laboratory. TackRL is named after the Space Force Tactically Responsive Launch Program, in an effort to figure out ways to shrink the timelines for planning space missions. This was the first mission supported by SMC's new Space Safari Program Office. It says, quote, when I challenged the Space and Missile Systems Center about a year ago to demonstrate a responsive space capability, they accepted and delivered. Chief of Space Operations General John Raymond said in a statement. It says the team presented an integrated space domain awareness satellite ready for launch in record time, he said. What normally would have required 2 to 5 years took 11 months. So why did they hurry this thing? Why was this done so fast, and why was this launched? It's responsive, right? It's possibly to respond to something. Dex, what do you think? This is quite possibly, why did they hurry it so fast? Was there any reason they should have done it in 11 months instead of 2 to 5 years?
Well, these types of this sun synchronous orbit is used either for imaging or spying or weather satellites, and so I'm pretty sure Space Force is not too concerned with weather right now. So they're probably setting something up for spying and imaging.
Well, it seems like every timeline has been moved up as far as making all the military timelines that we saw and we covered over the last 3 years. And in fact, I believe if you type military timeline into the website, you should get all the shows that we talk about it. Say an order for, 400 amphibious, island hopping vehicles, right? Their timeline was, hey, we need these in 6 years. All of a sudden, they're like, okay, we can get it done in a year and a half or 2 years. And they're working overtime and they're doing all these things. Dex, why do you think they're speeding up almost every kind of production, from missiles at Raytheon to amphibious vehicles by all of these local companies here? Why is everything speeding up?
Well, there's something on the horizon that they know about. There is a reason for it. It's not just because we can. It's because they need to.
I agree. Total Vagabond says, big hello from Ireland. Thank you so much. Total Vagabonds, again, anybody over there in Ireland, make sure to say what's up. Tipping Cows in Wisco, thank you for the super sticker. And then, of course, James Fox says, thanks, Marv. Great show. I appreciate that. Alabama anchor who broke Bill Clinton, Loretta Lynch tarmac story perished at 45. Yes, we have that in our on our website, I believe. Dex, we do have that, right? I believe.
I'm pretty sure we do. I'll double check it.
So
but yeah, that was out today.
I think it was Saturday, right, or Sunday. Yes, very crazy, and it was an apparent, took themselves out. Canada, thank you, Doc Bill. Thanks for sharing that with everybody. And then I don't think I missed anybody, but again, over on DLive, thank you everybody that just came in. A lot of new people. Just popped in there. Release the Quack, and again, Informed Woman, Cognitable, Bear Claws, Mighty Tort, Meat Puppet 07, 007. I always do 07. You're not a secret agent if you're not a 007. Jam and Denise in VA. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate you popping in over on DLive. Keep DLive alive. Blue Origin auction seat on first space flight with Jeff Bezos for $28 million. Which one of you is going to sit next to Bezos? Anybody have an extra $28 million? Personally, I think that somebody who is, what do you call it? Somebody who does not believe in the traditional shape of the planet, I think that they should send somebody up there. I think somebody with a whole lot of money, enough money to just throw it around, take one of the main people from that and send them up. And see if it changes anything. I don't know. Here's the thing. I always think that, people can argue about what shape it is all day, every day for the rest of their lives. But until we actually see regular civilians going up into space, which I think may never happen, who knows? There's no arguing about it. It's a moot point. It's like, I haven't been to space. You haven't been to space. You could say, well, I sent a rocket up and I didn't see any, okay, but if you haven't been to space, you can't really say. And, you might know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody whose brother is an astronaut and you trust them a lot. And they said, oh yeah, it's this shape or it's not that shape or it's all a sham or whatever. We haven't been to space. Until I'm in space, I don't know what shape it is. It could be an egg shape. It could be a triangle for all we know. I just think it's kind of dumb for us to argue about it. It says Bezos space venture Blue Origin auctioned off a seat on its upcoming first crewed space flight on Saturday for $28 million. That's actually not much considering, it's a whole lot of money. But to go to space, this is the same guy who spent $2 billion, so 20 times that, or no, something like 100 times that, right? Or something close to that, to buy a super yacht / submarine thing. So this is like chump change. He's like, you want to sit next to me, $28 million. It says the winning bidder, whose name wasn't released, will fly to the edge of space with his own founder and his brother Mark on Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket scheduled to launch on July 20th. So they're only going to the edge of space, or I don't get it. The company will reveal the name of this auction winner in the weeks following. New Shepard, a rocket that carries a capsule to the altitude of over 340,000 feet, has flown more than a dozen successful test flights without passengers, including one in April. The system is designed to carry up to 6 people. The capsule has massive windows to give passengers a view of the Earth below during the 3 minutes in zero gravity before returning to Earth. So it goes to right where it's zero gravity and then comes back. Now, just to
That's a short flight for 28 million.
Okay, but just to be a devil's advocate here, for 3 minutes, just like you can go on a regular plane and experience zero gravity if they go like this, and then they dive really quick, and then it gives you a couple seconds of zero gravity. Or I think they just dive, right? They dive and it feels, they do it at a certain amount, so it's zero gravity. If you're doing it on a much bigger scale, if you're going up higher to space, couldn't they just be doing this and then diving and imitating zero gravity? I mean, that kind of gives credence to the argue against. It just seems to me like that's not really, I don't know. So they're just going to like barely touch it and then come back down. But again, they say
yeah, but they got a window, right?
Yeah, they got a window.
That's the big deal. You can look at Earth.
They got a window. I
want to look at space.
Yeah, I know. I want to go out and look away from there, right? But it's going to be the first flight, so who knows? Maybe we might mysteriously lose Bezos and then mysteriously lose all of the CEOs, and they'll just all disappear. It'll be like the rich rapture, and we'll all be left behind while they're on some island or some super yacht. Dakota,
20 years later, we'll find they're in Mars, right?
Yeah. They've repopulated a new species of stuck-up jerks that live in Bellevue. They'll name the Mars city Bellevue. It'll be a bunch of people driving floating Suburbans, floating black Suburbans that cut you off and sit on their phone at stoplights. Okay. Sorry, I got off on a rant about Bellevue there. Starry 2000, thank you for subscribing. Dakota Hayes, welcome to the Foogle fam. It's always nice. If you do subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. I appreciate every single new person here. People say, subs, I need more subs. Those are human beings. You are a human being, and I appreciate each and every one of them. We don't grow unless you guys tell other people. So if you can, make sure to press that like button. It would be lovely if we did an experiment and every one of you actually press that, because I really wish we could find out if that actually mattered. It kills all of us creators. Like, does that actually help? But we never get the people to actually do it. It's something that's free for everybody. If there's 3,000 people watching, there should be 3,000 likes. But people don't do it. Or they're watching on a TV and they can't. But I really would appreciate it. We're trying to experiment here. Please, for the good of all of us trying to watch the content we want to watch, experiment with me. Let's try it. Let's try to get this some crazy number of likes. Please. I just want to know if it works. For 3 years, I don't think it does, but who knows? Brandon Mulray, thank you. Like. Thank you. Everybody that is doing that over in the chat. I appreciate that. All right, and from Free James Munder says love wins. Is James Munder in jail or something? I did not. You normally say free someone if they're in jail. I will have to look that up. That's not fun. All right, and then we have, of course, Space Station Photo tries to convey satellite's high speed. Dex, what is this?
Yeah, so one of the astronauts, Thomas Pesquet, I believe is how you say his name, he's into photography, and he was taking some interesting photos himself from the ship, specifically time-lapse, but short time-lapse, like 30-second exposures that, obviously in doing so, you can see the space station not moving because it's right there and you're on it, but then you can see the lights and the reflections and things like that on Earth move during that 30 seconds.
Well, I guess it would be a long exposure, so that's weird. So yeah, I wonder why though.
And you can see the stars move too, right? That the very short distance
Well,
for 30 seconds, but
that's
right, they're going around in the circle, and then you see the Earth rotation, according to the photo. And I think those lights you see are going to be lights from cities.
well, yeah, but and then they're super, but okay. The only problem with this is if just because I know if you do a 30-second exposure, just driving down the street at 60 miles per hour, taillights are going to be 10 feet long. It depends on how much it's moved. So I guess in relatively that could be crazy. But how fast is the satellite going compared to Earth? And they say that Earth is moving at thousands of miles per hour. It's so confusing to me that once you launch something off of Earth, then it goes out into space, then it shouldn't be totally separate. And once you go out into space and say you separate yourself, wouldn't you see the Earth like spinning super fast? Or because you're in the gravity of it? I don't think it's
the gravity. I think it's the mass, so how big it is. Like if something is so giant and it's spinning around so fast, you're so small that in theory you don't see the movement as much. I think that's what they're trying to say here is that they say this is moving like 4.8 miles a second.
Well, so they say that
your analogy on the ground, you're not moving 4.8 miles a second when you do a 30-second time lapse on a camera.
I know, but I'm saying if they get a satellite, or why we should get a live camera, right, of Earth, and should be able to get it far enough to see the whole Earth, right? A live camera and show a real-time view of the Earth. If you're farther out in space and you're no longer there, shouldn't you be seeing it flying and then also spinning super, super fast? Because they said that we're spinning however many thousands of miles. And if you're stationary and no longer spinning with it, shouldn't we see Earth going like this and not even be able to see a country or anything, even if it's massive? That's what always confused me about that. Like, why? That's what always confused me. Why? And we've sent up so many things. Why don't we have good, solid video? Even something that we've sent things out that have come back from millions and millions of miles away. Why haven't any of those had a specific kind of like just high definition camera on its way back getting video of Earth? Everything is a composite or it's just weird. AR-15, has anyone on the East Coast noticed less miles per tank since pipeline hack? Oh, maybe like the quality of the gas is bad or something? I don't know. I definitely have noticed that the price has gone up. It's like $4.15, $4.20 here. I mean, that's great for smokers, but not great for drivers. D Frustrated says, YT does not show that you're there and D Live loses chat. I don't know. That's why I said make sure to press that like button. Johnson, having fun hanging with the Foogle fam. Great show as always. Thank you so much for the Ninjagini AR-15 Hopkinson and Love Wins. Thank you guys. And then AR-15 again with the Ninjagini says, I've gone from 310 miles per tank to 275 miles per tank. No mechanical issues. Oh, so you're saying you fill a tank and it's actually getting less gas. That is kind of weird. No, I now I want to keep track. Who knows? Are you using cheaper gas? I don't know. Or your car is or your catalytic converter or something is going bad. That could be it too. I know that my Mustang got worse gas mileage once my converter went out. And then, of course, a new sensor can smell it in a crowded room. Apparently, the new sensor, it turns CV into a fart. A new device can sniff out if someone in a crowded room has CV. The highly accurate ceiling-mounted sensor takes as few as 15 minutes to raise a CV alert. It's actually going to sound a lot like this. Beep, 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 beep. That guy's sick. That guy's sick. Beep, 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 beep. I don't know if it'll sound exactly like that. I know the patent was filled for that sound, but I got that. That was actually a leaked sound right off of the dark web. That exact sound was going to be it, but they said it was needed high quality. I think they're going to get a voice actor for it. Don't know, but that is pretty crazy. And speaking of crazier than this, I don't know how they're doing this. Again, it says that they, of course, are doing this through some sort of device and how it has body odor and it senses body odor changes. So, other than that, though, back to the main subject of the show, I want to put out there that in the next couple months, I think that we're going to see a whole lot of news about nuclear. It's my prediction, and this is not, this isn't a science. From everything I've seen over the last few months and all of the articles and all the research data and the Chinese scientists that all left all in the same day, the 90, almost 100 research and development scientists from China all left nuclear research and all resigned in the same day. Like they were basically like, I'm washing my hands of this. I'm not going to be around this, or I'm not going to be a part of this, even though that puts a target on their back. They took that's a huge deal. Like, if you're in the U.S. government and you don't want to work at a job, they're like, okay, peace out. We'll get somebody else. If you are in China and you are a specialized person like that, you're doing a duty for the country, and that's what you have to do. You can't get out of that kind of thing. You do it until you don't do it. But they did that. So I don't know what is going on here, but something is weird with this radioactive leak. Who knows, that might play into something else. I also will predict, and I'm going to say this, and you guys are going to remember this later on, that we're going to see a whole lot that makes us cringe at anything China. And it'll probably be, probably be good, probably be correct. Like them and everything that they do to their people. But we're going to be drilled with it. Because I think that they are going to heavily get us like hating. They're going to bring out hate in all of us for that country. And there's a reason why. They do that before conflict. They do that before a war. That is my thought anyways. What is yours? Let me know in the comments below. Comment. Even if you're just telling me hello, make sure to comment there too. That helps our engagement and it helps us reach more new people. That's another experiment. If you could comment and just say hello. Give me Domino's number. I don't care. Anyways, Dex, what do you think about that? We talked about it before the show as far as the scientists and everything else that went on with that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So, yeah, that was
the writing's on the wall, in my opinion. It's just, they're going to tell you a little bit. They're not going to tell you the full truth. So you're going to have to read deep between the lines.
That's what they're telling you. Read between the lines. Every government is telling you to read between the lines. All right. If you want to continue reading all of these articles, or if you want to finish them out, or we didn't go far enough for your liking, you can go to the website. Dex, can you tell them about the additional content? We have lots of it, and it's too hot for TV.
Absolutely. So all of the other content, the web-only content, it's available on our website. Go to marfooglenews.com, look for the thumbnail, click on it, scroll down to web-only content. You'll see the stuff we've been following with all the counting that's going on around the world, or around the nation, I should say. And then there's also some other things. There's an interesting article there about China that's worth looking into. That is a very opinionated piece. So that's why we're not covering it here. We'll leave that opinion there. But it brings to light some interesting perspectives. Also, a lot of stuff, as we mentioned earlier, I think even the tweet or the video of Boris is on there as well. So some great stuff. Go check it out. marfooglenews.com. Look for the thumbnail, scroll down, and look for web-only content.
Yeah, that's the video that we were talking about. You definitely want to watch that. You'll see he goes shh, like it's like adults are talking. Shh, quiet, stop. It was held in his country, so I guess he probably felt a little bit more, more powerful. But I'm blown away. I mean, it's not the same, but imagine like going to the Queen or something like, no. It wouldn't happen. Not comparing JB to the Queen, but you know what I'm saying? It's the same kind of position. You don't shush or put your hand up ever to another world leader. Like, shh. I mean, it's happened, right? Shoes have been thrown, but shh. Wow. That's, even if it's in a joking manner, that's not etiquette, right? Mersa1, thank you. Holiday Kisser, everybody that popped in tonight, I appreciate all of you. There's a few other people that actually just came and showed their love. Thank you so much. James Fox, Liz Gaspari, Gone Girl 777, thank you for, along with Jacob Israel, being number 1 tonight. Thank you guys for tying each other, actually. Thank you so much. Who cares? Well, you should, says Marf and Dex. Thank you for all what you have done. Been with you and shared you with family and friends for 2 years now, brother. Thank you again for keeping us informed. Who cares? Well, you should. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your name. And then Frankie Rios says that the Chinese are starving. They need this conflict. Population control. That's a scary thought, too. And then, of course, again, Gone Girl, I'm so happy for you and your new dog, Little Foogly. And then Jeff M., thank you, everybody that popped in tonight. Really do appreciate all of you guys. Thank you. And if you want to see more, make sure to go to marfooglenews.com. Make sure to sign up for our alerts. Amber B. Subaru WRX, there is no way that many people for JB, LOL. I agree. Not even taking sides there. Just, come on. All right. Thank you, guys. Be safe. Dex, it is now officially time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a...
It's not a shout-out.
What is it?
It's a shoutro.
Love you guys. Have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out. It's like the credits, only you are the producers. I've got a few friends, Amber, B.I.R. Subaru, WX and Massive, nothing, thanks for all you are subscribing. I got down to everybody got the sadness, and everybody gonna bring it. I'm gonna go William Gaines and the Daphne Drew, I'll read the Squires, and everybody do exactly what they do. Everybody gonna go and guess it. From that get closer. Gale firestorm, everybody poser. With the moan and the Velma Hitler. Bring it down, 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 the check laws. And the bones and the hairy balls. Bring it right back and I love you all. She on my day with the diamond dye. He going right back with the dog red pony. Soldier going back, yap dabble. Pop jobs and I love a snapper. Snapper snaps and the snapper snap. I bring it right back and I don't cry. Blown in the back when the Kelly Hansen. Do it back round and I got the Jansen. Hey now, we the punches are hot. Roll nines losing it, not the gas. Roaming on the wolf in the getter pad. Like a dog, like Lil Foogly. Gone girl, 777 gon' bring it. Gone girl, 777 gon' bring it. Oh, 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 oh. Gone girl, 777 gonna love it. Oh, now my number, Gone girl, 777 Lil Foogly. 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 Hey, now bring it, Tracy, die, near, day, man, bring it back, no fear, time, but let it clear into the window, rock full light, Stina, D, West, Flawless, and USA, Chris and Chico. Gone girl, 777 Lil Foogly. Gone girl, 777 Lil Foogly. Oh, I bring it on down with the Venus on the L with the 73-3. On with the Lingo, Mr. on the P. CJ Blaze and the Mr. JB. Gino Sanchez, like that. Gino Genesis. I got, oh, now a cigar on the Genesis. Bring back with the love when witnesses. Oh, now away with the Pegasus. Launch missiles in from the sky for 40,000 feet. Oh, no, maybe I am. Bring now $28 million for a normal flight to the sky and a bring it back. Hey, 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 hey. Bear claws and the golden dick shake. I said the eyes will what I will say. Now I gotta bring it down, no late, oh late, oh late. Every